Hey everyone, J-Rod Plays here. Welcome to the weekly guide. That's going to be week 6. We're only 1 week away from the finale. Next week's going to give us hopefully a good finale to the season and not kind of drag it out and maybe have 1 more week at the end of the season or 2 more weeks at the end of the season. If so, it is what it is. That's how Bungie's been doing things normally. But I'm hoping that next week we'll have a definitive end to the season and we'll kind of go from there. As you can see with the setup for the ritual, everything is pretty much filled in. I've gotten the 3 elements and then I'm only missing this 1 card here, and that's going to be because right now we still have 1 more locked Arcana card over here, and then we're going to have maybe 1 more opaque card that does something important. This one is probably going to be the last challenge for the Imbaru Engine, and then this one here is probably just going to be more of the Witches Engrams. And so we pretty much filled out everything. We're 1 week away from being done with all the running around and collecting things, and then from here you can just kind of grind for your missing components, whether it be weapons or whether it be a specific role. Of course, you got all your full bounties, so if you haven't reset yet, you can get your reset done a lot faster with help from the bounties, as all these bounties gain reputation for the ritual table. As you can see, I've already reset it again, and I'm on my 3rd reset now, just playing it normally and running through everything, so it shouldn't be too hard, even if you're a little casual, to get to the ritual by the end of the season and get that cool ship. The weekly story is a little bit light. It's going to be, again, picking up a lot of the cards that you haven't gotten this season, so you're going to go back through some of the guides that I have if you're looking for the other elements. I've already done Solar that I started out on, skipped to Void, and then from there I finished up at Arc, and I just have Arc right now turned on because that's the class that I was running. It's because this week you're going to have to kind of use whatever the element is that you're trying to finish off to get your 3rd element done. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you guys how this week looked. So this week we start out the quest by going to the Holo Projector in the H.E.L.M, and there we'll get a message from Eris Morn talking about setting up the final bits of the ritual, kind of talking about everybody is underestimating her, and she is confident that she'll be able to conquer both Zebraroth and handle Savathun as well. So she's going to send us back to the lectern so that we can pick up the final element, and this will be the week that we get our final element so that we can get all 3 set up for the cards and for the abilities, and each element has its own major arcana tied to it, so that'll get you the 2 major arcana that you've been missing this week as well. She's going to send you out to the throne world to crush hive ghosts and defeat powerful combatants with your element, so you would just run your class and then go out there and try to search down the Lucent Hive captains. That'll be the wizards, the acolytes, and the knights. You can find them in any of the lost sectors. There should be at least 1 per lost sector, and you can also find them if you run around and do the gold patrols. That'll usually take you to an area that's got a bunch of enemies, and when you kill them all, a hive, Lucent Hive, will show up, and you can kill that Lucent Hive and crush the ghosts as well. Once you've gotten those done, I believe it's 3, you can then move to the next section, which you go into the lost sector that is assigned to your particular element, and you'll attune with the hive elemental runes in that sector. I had Arc, and so I'm going to walk through now what the Arc looks like when you're in there at the end of the lost sector. So this is going to be footage from the Extraction lost sector in the Savathun's throne world. You're going to fight your way through to the final room. You're going to kill the 2 Boomer Knights, and the Lucent Hive Wizard will move up, and then she'll try to attack you. Usually pops the super, so if you have something to suppress it, go ahead and suppress it just to show your dominance, and then from there kill it however you see fit. Once you do kill this Hive Wizard, even if there's other ads remaining, which is kind of annoying because those ads will continue to interfere with you as you're messing with the runes will pop up, and so you hop up to the top and you'll start to see the very first rune materialize here, which is right on that wall next to me here. So you have to shoot it with the element that it's attuned to, so shoot it with Arc. You're going to hit it with the Arc, it's going to activate, and you'll see runes all around the room. So I started to the left, there's 1 left on the wall, there's 1 going to be below, just slightly below the platform you cleared. If you move up a little bit across the way, you're going to see another rune that you'll be able to shoot. And then keep an eye looking down, you'll see 1 more to your right, kind of making a circle around the middle platform, the middle pillar. Now I don't know if these are timed or not, because it took a little bit for me to get them, but I imagine if you take too long you'll have to start all over again. And so I ended up getting another wizard, and another 1 popped out as well, so there were some additional hive ghosts to kill there too. And then that was it. That's pretty much it. So again, I don't know if those are timed, but that's all of the glyphs, all of the runes that you saw there, me shooting, were the entire selection. So starting out from the right here, you see 1 across the way, 1 here on the left wall, 1 underneath these stairs that I'm walking past, and then 1 more further down, also underneath the staircase. Final 1 is on that wall that you just saw here. And so those are going to be the location of all the runes, and I'm going to move on now and try to get footage for you guys for the Void and the Solar aspects as well. The solar rune locations come to us courtesy of the Time Sausages Gaming channel. What a name, but guy does pretty good videos. As you'll see in the final boss room, the runes are kind of clustered together, so they're not too difficult to find. One's going to be above you there to your right. As you'll see, there's one on the pillar to the left. There's one to his right as he turns to shoot the wall. And then there's going to be one all the way across. And you'll see it there, kind of up behind the pillar, underneath where the jump is. And then on this very final pillar, and after shooting that final rune, of course, you'll spawn the enemies. The enemies, once you kill them, will then allow you to do a ritual. Doing the ritual will then progress the quest, and that's going to be the solar. Let's move on to the void. So for the void, this is going to be in the final boss room as well. You'll see that there's one on the left pillar. There's one going to be directly to you on your right on this right pillar. And now we're revisiting this one here on the left that we just walked past. If you go further on, by the statues on the wall, there's going to be one on this back left pillar. Left, of course, looking from the entrance. There's going to be one against the wall by the statue that's toward the exit, by the chest. And then one next to the chest, underneath it on the right. That's going to then spawn the enemies. Same thing, kill them all, do the ritual, and that's going to progress us to the next step of the quest. Now we're going to return back to the H.E.L.M, back to the ritual area where you'll see Eris Morn speaking with Imbaru, and they're having an interesting conversation about Imbaru's disbelief that she's ready to take on Zivaroth, and that she's even strong enough. And then of course they have a couple of cool little insults going back and forth, and that'll move us on to the next step of the quest. After the conversation, make sure to go over to the ritual table. That way you can actually redeem the cards that you've been picking up, the opaque cards that you've been getting throughout. And this is going to be one of the cards that's going to be tied to your element. So for me, I picked up Liminal, and I think Liminal, and then like the Lie was the other one if I remember correctly. And those are going to be the two quests that you'll get if you're Arc with me on this week. If not, you'll be getting two of the other quests tied to those. You'll also get the Empowered Spire Crystal for Arc. And so that one, if you punch the crystal to give you the arc buff, it's going to give you more time to get to the other crystals, and it's also going to jolt things around you. So it's nice. It's just like a nice little extra benefit. It's just like the other ones. It'll be the same thing. From here, you're going to go listen to a radio message between Eris and Ikora, and it's just kind of more of the same, them going back and forth of, yes, I can do this, and Ikora's like, you're going to get lost, and I don't want to lose you. And Eris is like, hey, I got this. That's basically the build-up. I figured it'd be getting a lot more intense, considering next week is the finale, so we'll see how they play this. But after this, don't forget that you can also still go into the Savathûn Spire to pick up the cards that you're missing. And I have a guide on that. I'll have that linked in the description. And then same thing with the guide for the Altar of Summons cards. You're going to pick up the card element that you're missing, and if on the Altar of Summons you haven't picked up the untyped card, there is a non-elemental card hidden there as well. And then in the Savathûn Spire this week, there's also going to be one additional card to find. Right before you go to the final boss room, if you turn to the right, there's going to be an untyped card that's going to unlock the next section of the Imbaru Engine, and I'm going to go over that right now. So once you get back to the Imbaru Engine, you may be forced to do the first section again, the Cunning, where you pick the chests with the actual matching rune, the rune that you're supposed to get, not the rune that you're not supposed to get. And it's the same rune that's been activating all the positive things going forward. And so from there, there's a guide. If you want to see last week, you can see my guide last week where I have that and how to get past that. Once you actually do get past that and you're into the next section, there's going to be a door that opens up at the main room by the two chests that spawn from the last test. You're going to be in a part in the quest that says Part the Mist. That's how you know you're ready to go through those doors. Now once you go through those doors, there's going to be a couple of paths that you can take. Be careful not to go into a portal at the end of this path. There's a bunch of traps and things that you walk through. Like I did the first time, I just jumped to the portal thinking, oh, that's where to go. But actually the portal takes you back to the main entrance. And so just when you're getting past all of the traps and you go up the lift, make sure you don't go into the portal. The actual door is going to be just in front of you as you land, and you know you're in the right place because you're going to see a bunch of pointers on the ground, and you're going to see another ritual site. Now when you begin this ritual, the idea behind this ritual is to find the first enemy that you need to start the process with, and the way that you'll do that is you'll go to the very top of the stairs here, or the ramp, and you're going to activate the deep sight. Once the deep sight's activated, you'll see footprints leading to the very first enemy that you need to kill, and then that enemy will then point you to the next one. So following the dial on the ground, the little arrow on the ground, if you look across, you're going to see, okay, it's pointing to this enemy here, we're going to kill this one next. And then the same thing, once you stand on this one, you're going to say, okay, through the rock, there's nothing on that side, so it's going to be higher up, and so that's going to be this knight here kneeling at the very top, and that's going to be the next one that you kill. You don't have to worry about the deep sight running out. You already know your path. So that's going to take me through the wall into the very top. And now the next section is going to be different, because if you accidentally just follow the same exact logic from the past room, you're going to end up killing yourself. And what happens when you end up killing yourself is a shrieker will open up in that area and it'll begin to shoot you, but you're going to die from a debuff anyways. And so as you see here, I skipped the first night and I moved on to the second thrall, and then same thing, I skipped this thrall and did the other one. So it's in every other one, and it's going to keep that order going through the entire rest of the strength challenge. So once you get through here, again, just be very careful. I've made the mistake as well of thinking, okay, you know, this is the night that I'm going to skip, and then I shoot the wrong night. You're actually going to do every other one starting with the night. So that knight that's kneeling down, you're not going to shoot that knight. You're going to walk past the knight, and then you're going to look at the first thrall and say, okay, it's the second thrall. And so this is the second thrall that I shot. Then I'm going to skip that thrall and follow the arrow and say, okay, the next one in order is not the right one. It's going to be this one that's past it to the left. Then I'm going to skip this next thrall, following the order, and I'm going to be at the final thrall. And then from there it'll say you've conjured war, and you'll get the kind of objective complete pop up. You're going to get the Knight Morph Triumph, and that's how you know you've completed the Imbaru Engine for this week. And after that, of course, you're free to still run around and collect the additional elemental cards if you haven't done that just yet. I also then went back into the tower and I picked up the final opaque card that I got from doing the last few steps of the quest that I had, and that was just going to be a feeble offering, so it wasn't anything important, and you don't have to worry too much about picking that up right away. Same thing with all the witches keys that I have. I can't pick any of them up because I'm constantly full of witches keys from just doing other activities, since I don't run enough altar and Savathun Spire to spin them. And then the last thing behind that to do, that if you haven't done it yet, is to pick up any of the triumphs that you've already completed by doing those things. And that's the guide for this week. Like I said, short and sweet. Hopefully you guys do make use of this video, seeing it this weekend. I'm sorry I didn't get it till the end of the week because I had a very busy week outside of Destiny. And try to get out another 1 or 2 videos if I can later in this weekend. If not, though, I'll see you guys next week for that finale, and I'll make sure to have some videos for that, as well as all the story moments, try to compile it into one video. I was trying to do some catch-up videos, but every time something crazy would happen, like the servers go down, or, you know, we had the stuff with the DDoSing, which made the servers even worse. And so I just couldn't really do anything. I couldn't even finish Crota's End on Master last week just because of how terrible the DDoSing disconnects were. And I'm going to try to get to that this week, try to get some more guides out this week as well, and then of course the final guide for Crota Challenge next week. And I'll see you guys in the next guide.
What's her plan? Why is she hiding behind her troops?
I have considered this. In my transformation, I promised vengeance against the Hive. And we are her brother's killers.
You're suggesting that if Zebu Arath attacked directly, she would empower you?
The sword logic precludes revenge. Perhaps she is afraid she will take it.